Hi, Jeanine. I'm Sophia Soder with the Nerds of Color, and it is such a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh my God, thank you for being here. So nice to meet you.
So, the first thing I want to start off by saying is, or rather discussing, is the incredible representation you bring to the series for the Latinx community as a Latina lead. I am Cuban. It means the world to me to see on my screen, and I know it means the world to so many others. So I was just wondering what it means to you to, bring this representation, bring this beauty to the community, and if there's any sort of message you hope you give viewers.
Oh, Sophia, I love you. You have no idea how much you've just given me with that. Oh, you made me emotional. Okay.
It's rare. I know as a viewer, it's rare.
And it's a joy to speak to you, and that you are Cuban, and that you are just so clearly in connection with like how cool it is that we're here and we're getting to do this and we're getting to have conversations with each other. It's amazing.
Exactly.
So I'm so happy for you, and I'm so happy to be speaking to you. But it's so crazy. I love that we are having this conversation so much, and that we're all doing our best, we hope, to make it a part of the forefront of discussion, the importance of representation. But sometimes I think the magnitude of the little moments like this get lost because the conversation is becoming regular, and that's wonderful. But the magnitude, like the time in which it's happened, that we've gotten to this place, is not lost on me, and the magnitude of it is massive. And I'll have moments like this that do make me emotional, because it's like recalibration moments where it's like you're sort of zoomed out of the matrix and you're like, hold on, wait, like it is still so exciting that we are here, and that the how much it means to people is really something to like celebrate, to like never let be a quiet celebration, to like always make it a loud celebration. But I had a friend who his younger sister is Latina, she's Cuban, she's in Florida, and there were like a bunch of billboards and stuff in Florida, and she sent me a letter, and she was just like so excited about what it meant to her to see me there, because for her it was really like, this is someone who went to school with my brother, who went to the same schools I went to, is from the part of town that I'm from, and look at her, she's on a billboard. And like sometimes you just think like, especially me, I'm really like, immigrant culture of like goal oriented. I'm like, what's next? Like, what's the next thing? And sometimes I just go like, holy shit, like this is amazing. And my 15-year-old self is freaking out constantly. So it's nice to meet people who remind me to check in with my 15-year-old self, because this was not what I thought was possible for me. I remember watching the CW and like thinking, I would watch Gossip Girl with my dance friends. That was the only show we would watch. We were busy all the time. We would watch Gossip Girl, and thinking about like Jessica Shore's character and feeling like, well, I could be that like ethnically ambiguous character. And so maybe there is space for me on a network like the CW. And then to get to a point where it's like, you're testing for pilots on the network and you're a real contender, and then getting a call of like, actually, we want you to lead a series, is just bonkers. That's a really short time in which that didn't seem like a possibility. And it's my actuality, and so it's our actuality.
Made me so emotional with that answer. Oh my gosh, because I know when I grew up, I'm only 21, but growing up, TV was just such a passion of mine. That's why I fought to be in this position. And it's like there weren't any leads, there weren't any representation. Just to see you leading this successful, crazy, amazing show is just like, oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to meet you. Thank you.
And also something else I want to point out about Liz is she's just so intelligent, this badass, and like that's another thing I love seeing on my screen when it comes to females, because sometimes you don't get the complexity and just Absolutely. The realness of females.
100%. I even like today, we've done a few interviews right before, and quite often a lot of the questions are surrounding Liz and Max. And like, listen, I am a fangirl. Like, I love this property. I love the books. I love the original series. I love that we get to play with Liz and Max, and they are just such a gorgeous cosmic love story. I am a romance, softie. But I find myself often directing the conversation to how much of a badass Liz Oteco is, and how much this show stands for, in her brilliance and in her achievements, and how much she has to offer this world, and that she really is the magic that Earth has to offer in this series. She is the linchpin for this whole cosmos to work, because she is the answer to their great dilemma, and she is also doing so much to move science forward and to take care of people on Earth. That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable. So reminding people to, like, let's also bring it back to who she is, and the magnitude of who she is.
Exactly. And listen, like you said, I'm the biggest fangirl, but those are the conversations we need to have. Like,
Yeah.
those are the ones. Those are the ones that matter.
Amen.
So
Amen.
another thing that is so exciting, I did see the premiere, but another thing that is so exciting is that you guys are jumping a year ahead.
Yeah.
So what was that like when you found out that you were going to be doing this little mini time jump, and how excited were you?
I was so excited because I often had, I remember being at like Comic-Con and getting asked often, like, what's your big desire for Liz? And by the time we were done with season 2 and about talking about starting up season 3 and what we were going to explore, my desire for her really was for her to get to do her work unencumbered by her great responsibilities with these aliens. And I wanted that selfishly, just as a feminist. I just thought, she is so brilliant. What if she didn't have to take on all this responsibility? And what if she could focus her brilliance on making a contribution to the world that could have a positive effect on so many people for generations to come? And we get to fully exercise that with this year jump. We see what would Liz's life look like if she was committed to just focusing on her contribution to science, and to the world's health. And her life does look pretty great, but ultimately she is our hero, and this isn't her journey. And she is in service to this community and that work she does in that community. So she finds her way back to Roswell pretty quick. And I love that for her. I do. Like, my answer has changed. I do desire for her to just exist, navigating the huge complication that is trying to honor herself and her life and what makes her happy and what's best for her and Arturo and Rosa, but also navigating, honoring the great responsibility that she has. And thank God it's her, because she can and she will, and she'll mess up. And that's why we get to have a 4th season. But this is her destiny, and no one else I would rather bet on.
So you just led us into our next question so perfectly, because you got renewed for a 4th season. So huge congrats. I'm so excited. And I have to know, how did you feel when you found out that news? The season 3 didn't even premiere yet, and you guys were already, renewed and getting ready for a season 4.
Oh my God, it was incredible. I mean, it's just, I really love getting to work with WB and CW. They've been so good to me and so good to our show, and they're just so good to fans. And that's the thing that's the most rewarding, because then I think fans know they can come here and they can fall in love with no fear of getting to lose these characters. I've talked to my sister and brother-in-law, they just started watching Baker and the Beauty on Netflix, and I had to break it to them that it's just a one and done. And they were like, no, what? I'm like, yeah, it was canceled. And they were heartbroken. They were like, no, I just started falling in love with these characters. And I love that about the CWs. Like, you can come to expect that if it is working and if you guys are loving it, like, we're going to give it its life. We're going to support it. I think that's the reason why it's like we go to Comic-Con, it's like a madhouse. It's amazing. I was so bummed it was virtual again this year.
So you've been on the show and this journey for a while now, a few years, and you're going to continue. So, what has it been like to see this character evolve into who she is?
Oh my gosh, it's been like the biggest joy. I have truly taken it as an opportunity. It feels like every year I'm like, how am I going to level up in service to Liz Orteco and to the the blessing of this gig and this position in the industry right now as a Latina lead on a network television series. Like, I'm like, okay, let's go. You're getting another go. Let's level up. How are we going to level up? And um, you know, it, it's been so fun to allow Liz to be informed by other Latina voices. And we do that a lot through books. And I like chronicle them on my Instagram. It's like a little baby book club. And Chris Holly, our showrunner, is just like so on board and responsive and excited. And so are our writers. Like, they know to expect from me, like email in the middle of the night with like, I just heard this, you know, I just heard this podcast, and it was like this author, Angie Cruz, who wrote Dominicana, and she was in conversation with these other writers at Word Up Bookstore up in Washington Heights, and they were talking about this, and we need this somewhere, and maybe this could play in to how Liz and Isabel are navigating, being the protectors of these crazy boys, Or I'll send him pictures of pages that I've like marked up of like Sonia Sotomayor's autobiography. And Chris is just a wonderful collaborator and ally, and that will be 10 episodes deep. And he'll be like, hey, do you remember that line in Sotomayor's autobiography where she said this? And so I'm really just trying to level up by like getting really connected to the resources that inform Liz. And so both like books and also activists. And, I'm just like amazed by when you start asking around and try to really like treat your philanthropy as like an educational journey. You get connected to these like really wonderful activists who are on the ground and have the actual information that needs to be transmitted out there. So just trying to just learn more and more every year and just like be level up so that when the next, Latina steps into a leading role on the CW, I can give them the Bible of like, this is how I did it. This is what I think, was helpful to me. And we could just keep doing better and doing better. We don't have the luxury of not doing great. I don't think we ever would do great, but I also think it's like, it's just in my nature, and I think it's in our nature to be for each other. So a lot of what I do is just trying to rack my brain for like how I can help on the bigger scale, even outside of like just doing a great job on my scene that day.
I have to ask you, how did it feel when you wrapped this season with such insane circumstances?
It,
Congrats. Like, oh
it
my gosh, an accomplishment.
it was really emotional, and I felt like I, for longer than I knew, was sort of like holding my shoulders up and was tense. And I'm really proud of our team. We really were able to click into a rhythm where it was, there was as much ease as there possibly could be on set. And I was really just trying to make sure everyone was comfortable, because ultimately you want people to have a good time doing this. Like, we get to do this, it's awesome. But you're doing your best work, and you're being your most creative when you're comfortable. So I'm really proud of how we were able to teamwork it. And I'm so excited for this year for that reason. Hopefully it'll be a little better.
What can you sort of tease to get fans hyped, even though they are so hyped already?
I mean, this season is crazy. I think like two big things that people can expect from like the season as a whole is, it's the best thing about these characters. They are on a journey that they've been on with each other since they were kids, since they grew up together. So like every year they have to level up, and they are actively growing. And this is season 3. Like some growth needs to be happening. They're really all on a journey of getting confronted with themselves, and that mirroring is, because it's a sci-fi show, quite a literal metaphor in Max and Jones being mirrors of each other. But the beginnings of what he's bringing up for Max, and what he's asking him to like answer for himself, confront about himself, it starts to pop up, and all of our characters really go on that journey of getting out of their way, maybe a little bit more, shedding stuff that's like been that's been holding them back, you know. That just made me think of Kyle. Like Kyle ends in this really vulnerable place where he's putting himself out there romantically in a way he would have never at the beginning of the season. And it was so fun on set to like watch Kyle grow, you know, and watch your friend Trevino navigate that growing for that character. So I think people are going to be excited about things get shaken up. Like it's a real mirror to each other. So it causes stuff to get shaken up, and like the new versions of these characters that emerge at the end of the season. And then the other thing is it was a COVID year. So a lot of our protocol restrictions, we went like, well, then we're going to like alien, you know, trickster the hell out of this season. And it was a lot more VFX and explosions and things flying and moving. The fights, oh my God, the like weaponry, it was really insane. Lily Coles was incredible. Oh my God, Isabel has a fighter journey this year. The whole end of the season, I just was like looking at her like bruised hands, just going like, girl, I was like, you know, I'm glad I signed up for the scientists. It was pretty amazing. So those two things really make it a very dynamic season, I would say. And it's my favorite season for Liz and Max too. They do a lot of growing up, and I love a slow burn. I think that's like the beauty of this setup of 13 episodes, end of season 3, and now into season 4, and yeah.
So much, Jeanine, for taking the time to speak with me. I hope we get to speak again super soon, and huge congrats.
Girl, I'm so happy to meet you. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Keep doing it. I want to see you. Let's like do this, like give me like a few years and let's do it on like a marble carpet or something. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, thank you for paving the way for girls like me. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day, okay? Stay safe.
Bye, Sophia.
Thank you.